Soul Simmers, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're actually going to do another build challenge because I don't know what it is, but apparently I'm in the mood for build challenges and I keep coming up with new ones. But this one has been on my list for quite a while and I finally decided to do it. So for those of you who haven't heard about it before, James Turner actually made a build generator challenge. Like, it's kind of like a website where you can generate a random build challenge, very similar to the one that we've done before from Plumbella. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure to link it up in the cards in the description box down below so you can check it out. But James also has a very similar build generator, and he has a specific one for tiny homes. And I thought, how fun would it be if we actually challenge ourselves not to 1, not to 2, not to 3, but to 4 tiny homes on one lot, like a small little tiny home community, but every single home is based off of a generated challenge from James's website. So what we're going to do today is, in the beginning of the video, we're going to roll 4 different house styles, or like 4 little mini challenges, and then I'm going to pick a lot in the game, and then we are going to create a little tiny, maybe like kind of like a gated community village with tiny homes. And then if you have for rent, you could even use that to like technically split up those tiny homes into different rental units and actually live there with a little Sims community if you're interested. So of course, as always, I'll make sure to upload it to the gallery. My gallery name is just Rosannatxt. But without further ado, let's actually jump into the generator and get ourselves 4 different challenges. So this is the generator. It's just on James's website. Of course, I'll make sure to link this in the description box down below as well. And then there is a couple of things that you can do when it comes down to like the settings. You can do a random build, a tiny home, a cast family, and a single pack build. But today we're going to do a tiny build, and then it will give you like a little challenge card or like a little description of what you have to do as soon as you hit generate. So this is the one that it just opened with, so that's not the one we're going to do. Let's actually roll for the very first one. No more than 60 tiles. Okay, that's not too bad. Honestly, 60 tiles is pretty decent for a tiny home. Moonwood Mill, I feel like that is probably going to be like an abandoned home. We're going to make it look like a little bit run down, but we can do that. There can be one home on the lot that, you know, no one has really taken care of in a long time. There must be a room for a young adult, a child, and a dog. I can make that happen too. Actually, this is not a bad budget at all. I mean, almost 20k for such a tiny house is going to work perfectly fine, especially considering this house needs to look like really run down. I am going to try to completely use this budget though. Like, it would be fun if we can use all this money specifically. And we need to use the Llamacorn's team photo, which is like, it gives you the little item as a little pop-up overview. I think this should be easy. Like, we can just put that in the teens or like in the child's room or something. So I feel like the first challenge, okay, I want to cheer too early, but like this one was easy on us. Now I'm extra scared to roll the second one because I genuinely feel like it's gonna come back to bite me in the butt. But let's see. 25 tiles. I told you 20, like, oh, this is bad. 25 tiles is so ridiculously small. Also, the downside of placing multiple tiny homes on one lot is the fact that we're actually gonna have to count the tiles ourselves, but I think that'll be fine. But 25 is rough. That's like a little studio. Your style must be in Solani. So that'd be like, I mean, to be honest, if you go, like, I think the similarity between Solani and Moonwood Mill is that they have like a lot of kind of container style home. Not necessarily like container style, but that texture, I don't know what that's called, but like the outside of a container. I think we can make that work. Room for an adult, a young adult, a teen, and a child. Excuse me? You're asking me to fit all of this in 25 tile. Okay, this is gonna be really painful. 8,000. This is like the opposite of the previous one. Oh my God, I want to cry. Okay, modern day conversational and the tiered okay, that we can put outside or something, and that, I don't know. This is good. Okay, I really jinxed it for myself, huh, by saying that the first one was easy. Okay, let's actually generate a fourth one. No, third one, Ro. Third. 98 tiles. Okay, that's doable again. That's decent. Style your build like Brindleton Bay. Okay, that's kind of like more of a traditional suburban home, I guess. An elder, 3 young adults, 2 children, and an infant. At least the budget and the size and like everything here matches a little bit better. The stellar spiral, oh, that I hate this item. This is such a terrible item. It is so ugly, but I think we can make it work if I really have to. And a potted palm, I can easily use that one. Okay, I feel like this is a doable one again, but I am starting to struggle to see a vision for the lot and like make it work. Okay, now it's time for the last one, and I genuinely feel like this is going to be a hard one. I sense it. already. 23 tiles. Smallest one yet. Actually, the budget is decent. 2 young adults, 2 teens, what? There is no way. There is actually no way that you're gonna fit that into 23 tiles. I think one of them has to go like sleep outside or something. Honestly, Willow Creek style, I feel like again kind of fits with the traditional suburban, so I think we can make that work. Budget is fine. Stratchway Yoga's instructor's mat is gonna be fine too. We can just place that outside somewhere. How do you want me to fit this many people? That's like 5 Sims. And I mean the cat and the dog, I think we can make that work like on the outside or something. Make like a cute little terrace or like a little porch that is covered. I think we can make that work, but that's a lot of Sims for very little tiles. I think it is time for us to go into game to actually see how small 23 tiles is, because I feel like in my brain this is like the worst potential build that I could ever do, but maybe it's not that bad. Oh, I can tell you it is in fact that bad. That's 25 tiles. This is what you want me to work with? I mean the 23 one is even like 2 tiles smaller. I would have to get rid of this bit. So you're telling me that I have to fit, oh my word. I wish me luck, everyone. I genuinely think this might be one of the harder build challenges that I've ever done. So that's our 23. Let's actually copy that so that we can add 2 tiles back, because that gives us 25. That's not a lot of tiles, huh? Then what was the other one? We had 60 tiles. So that's like 10 by 6. I mean, that's a little bit of a weird shape of a house. So what I think I'm gonna do is like, I am just gonna place these rooms like this. So that's the amount of tiles I can use. And then I can split that up and kind of like create shapes with it. And then the next one was 98. So let's just do like a 10 by 10 and then get rid of 2. So that one is a reasonably large home, to be honest. These two, I just want to cry, especially because these two need so many Sims in it. But okay, I guess it might be nice to kind of have like a bigger one. I'm probably going to split this up and maybe create like 2 stories, because I think that one can definitely have stairs, but maybe like a layout, something like this or something could be cute. And then let's actually split this up and make sure that we get that into like a reasonable shape. Okay, so that is the 98 tile house. I think that looks pretty cute. I think that worked out nicely. I just think that I should drag this, like, should I just drag it all the way out so we get a roof like that? I think that looks better. I think that looks pretty cute. Okay, so that's build number 1. Also, this bigger house should be in the style of Brindleton Bay. I honestly think that works quite well. Like, that's a very typical suburban house, and I think we can make that work to kind of make it even a little bit more McMansion maybe. And even though McMansion suggests it's really large and it's a tiny house, but I think that can work. So then we have the 61. I think that might be the next one. I'm very purposefully trying to ignore the very small ones right now because I don't know what to do with those yet. So the 60 tile one is actually the one that's supposed to look like it belongs in Moonwood Mill. So I'm genuinely just going to try to make that look quite run down. I don't think it would be wise to create 2 stories with this one because I think it is going to be a little bit too small, but we can definitely split it up in like a slightly more interesting way. So what I think I'm just going to do is I'm going to move this and like create a little bump out over there. And then let's see, I think we can also, maybe we can take away like a little bit over here and place that back over here. I think the most important thing for me is the fact that I can like create a decent roof shape, like something that isn't gonna look super boring. But I think this might look funky if we do that. Let's just place a roof on it. I almost feel like Moonwood Mill can also have a little bit more of like a trailer look or something. I think that could work nicely. And then we just have to have another roof like this. I'm not sure if that's what I like, to be honest. I might actually, do I want to shift that around? I don't think that would be a good call. Sometimes I feel like the things that seem so easy to roof turn out to be like the most difficult ones to roof. I just realized I think I should, oh, I can't drag that out because of that. Actually, maybe it might work to just extend the roof like this and even like that. Just kind of continue and then have this on the back. This also said that it needed like space for a dog. So I think what we could do is we could absolutely like have a little covered porch for this one. Let's just tuck that in so it looks a little bit nicer. I'm like trying to decide how to make the roof like connect, like the roof lines connect and make sense. Okay, I just quickly gave that one like a more McMansion roof texture and this one like the rundown roof texture, and I created a little porch using these columns. And I think these two are actually working nicely together. They make sense, I think. I hope. Now it is time to actually turn our attention to the ones that I am dreading, but we're gonna see if we can make it work. I think we're gonna have to get really creative with this one and try to like create an outdoor space that just makes sense or something, because the 25 one needs to look like it belongs in Solani. That is a part that that I find kind of difficult by not having an insulani. So I think to just help me with my vision, I'm gonna just quickly like go in here and see what kind of wallpapers we have. We do have stuff like this, so I'm almost like tempted to maybe get it like something like this, because that one is also gonna be like a little bit run down. I think this could work. I don't see the vision just yet, but I think it could work. I think what would also help is we actually like have to split things up a little bit to create a little bit more of an interesting house shape. Okay, might regret that one, but let's actually see what we can do. I think I'm realizing now that this little shape actually it would be better if it's like this, because that creates for a little bit easier roofing, and then we can do it like that. This almost looks like a little shed. I feel so bad to realize that there would actually be people living here, to be honest. But okay, I was thinking what we could do is we could like extend that roof line a little bit, maybe not in that way. I don't know. Will that look good? I'm trying to figure out, like, if you actually lived on a beach, you probably would have like a lot of outdoor space, right? So maybe something like that. We can give them a nice little porch. And then the question is, do we actually have some roof textures that came with Island Living? We do. Okay, so we could potentially give it like the same roof as the one next to it, but that one just is much more run down. But I'm not sure if I don't know. Does that look good, or does that look kind of ridiculous with the other houses on the lot? I feel like that's gonna look even more ridiculous though. So I think this might be our best option. And then I think we're gonna have to create like another porched roof, because they need even more outdoor space, I think. Like that's the only way we're gonna make sense of this, because I was thinking maybe like even some outdoor cooking or something could work. We also desperately need some roof trims. So I think that one could do with like a nice brown roof trim. I think that kind of gives it the finishing look. I think for this one, maybe like a gray one would work best. And then for the McMansion, we're just gonna do a white one, because that works the best considering it's a McMansion. This is definitely gonna be a very interesting mix of houses next to each other, but I think potentially we could make it work. I don't know for any of you who's ever been to Belgium, sometimes I feel like, no shade to Belgians, but this is kind of what your streets look like. Like, because there's no laws or regulations on how you're allowed to build something. And I feel like this is genuinely what kind of happens when you look at the streets sometimes, is like people have put such different style homes next to each other, and then like one person is very meticulous and they take great care of their home, and then like the person right next to it is just abandoning their home basically while living there. And then some people have like really big houses, and some have really small, and some have really modern, and some have really old, and you just get this really weird mix of houses in one street. It's kind of funny. For this one, I am genuinely worried, because two young adults, this is gonna be like one of those houses with 5 million bunk beds. I think that's the only way, and it's gonna definitely have an outdoor space for cooking. Like there's no way we're gonna fit a kitchen in here. So I think to make that work, the only way that I can do that is we're gonna have to create another porch. These people just have lots of porches, okay? It's a style. What can I say? I'm not one to judge. You know, some people have driveways, other people have porches. This one is supposed to look like it belongs in Willow Creek, so we can kind of make that another, I was gonna say McMansion, but ain't no way that, you know, this is a McMansion house. Doesn't work, Ro. Doesn't work. But I feel like we can try to make the house look like it's a lot bigger than it actually is. Like, let's try to do them a little bit of justice at least. I think we can. I'm gonna make sure that that connects a bit better, because the fact that they have a small house doesn't mean that they have to have an ugly house, okay? And then we need to give it like a nice white roof trim. It is questionable, that's for sure, but I think we might be able to make it work. I'm like starting to doubt whether I should move this structure over here to kind of like mix and match, but then it's still gonna look like I placed them next to each other. Then we're just gonna have a pretty side of the street and an ugly side of the street. Maybe this actually does work the best. We're gonna also do a bunch of landscaping around it, but I feel like right now what is really gonna help to give that feel of it being like a city, or like a city, like a street, I think we should do some concrete at the, okay, let's actually place like a street in the middle. Okay, I think I like that. Okay, so I quickly did some like landscaping to just kind of give the whole build the vibe of being an active neighborhood. So I made a little street, I actually added some cars, and I just added like a whole border around the lot of the fence, and then adding some plants and stuff like that. I think it actually looks pretty cute with the trees and everything, and I think we can definitely make it work so that it feels like maybe there's some space in between for kids to play and stuff. So I know that I am absolutely just delaying the fact that I have to actually decorate these houses on the inside by trying to make it look good on the outside. But hey, girls gotta do what she's gotta do, okay? I'm trying to not start with the really small houses. I know that we have the playground equipment, but I always forget where it actually is. I think it might actually just be in the garden here. Yeah, it's over here. Hold on. Oh, that's actually pretty cute. If we add that in the house that is like supposed to be Solani, that could be like the sea. That's really fun. I think that's like a cute little nod to the theme that we have. And I think that works nicely in between these two houses. Yeah, I like that. And then the question is, do I also want to add something over here? I might actually add like a little playground as well, just because I think it actually looks pretty nice to, if you have like almost like a gated community like this, you usually have a little playground in between, right? Something else that we could add over here, maybe like a little slide. That could be cute. There we go. Little playground for the kids. I think that's really nice. I think that way, if you were to play on this lot, it actually doesn't feel like super empty and stuff. I think maybe a next logical step would be to decorate or like to pick a color scheme for the houses. I think the one that is supposed to be in Brindleton Bay, I'm sorry, but there is just no other way than to make it a really like typical blue suburban. So I'm just gonna use like the stuff that we actually got with the pack. And then the question is, which sidings did we get? I keep always forgetting like what wallpapers were added. So we have these, but I always feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense to have that on like the entire house. So maybe I should actually, that's actually not that bad. They're like slightly different, but that gives the house like a nice texture. And then I think what we should do, hold on. I have an idea. I have a vision. Okay, so we didn't get any stones with the pack. So then I'm just going to use the base game one, I guess. I feel like having like something like this is super typical. And maybe we could have like one of the other bump outs have that too. Like kind of the rustic stone look, you know? I don't know. It feels like such a cliche, but I think it's kind of fun. And then also, wait, I just realized now it's going to be really hard in terms of budget to kind of monitor how much we're spending, because one, we're building on an unlimited budget, but also I cannot really like have all of these be separated budgets. So I think what I'm just going to do is I'm going to I really wanted to do the budget part, but I don't see a way how I can make that work with the game mechanics. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the budget part out of the window, because I feel like I'm compensating challenge wise for the fact that I'm trying to make all of this work on one lot. So I hope you guys can agree with me, but that does mean that I have like unlimited supply of columns. Because usually you're like, no, can't use columns, they're too expensive. But I think on this build, we can. And I absolutely shall. Because we have to make it pretty some way. I always feel like a budget is really fun for a challenge though. So if you're ever looking for like a build challenge or a way to kind of spice up the things that you're doing in The Sims, or like trying to find a way that challenges you to build, then I can highly recommend just going for that budget challenge, because I think it's one of the easiest way to make building really challenging for yourself in The Sims without having to go like really out of your comfort zone of building in a style that you've never done before, or maybe like doing a huge building project. Because I remember when I started with like trying to make builds more challenging, it was really easy to just kind of go ahead and be like, oh, I'm going to build a 64 by 64 lot. And then I got super demotivated because it took forever. And then I felt really bad for maybe not completing it. But I think genuinely, if you want to get yourself more like into creative building, the easiest way is to just start with a budget cut. Because by changing the budget that you're allowed to use, you're kind of like forcing yourself to pick items that you might normally not use in the game. Unless you always build like really cheap homes, then maybe almost reverse it and like make sure that you start using all the more expensive stuff and like give yourself a big budget that you have to completely use or something. That could be super fun to do as well. I've seen like enough people do these challenges where you have to build houses that are like 1 million. I don't think I've ever done that. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd be interested to see me like do a 1 million build challenge. I almost feel like 1 million is so much. Like it is so much. Okay, I'm just adding columns for the life of me, as if like literally my life depends on it. But I just think this is gonna make every build look so much better, and I think we need that right now. Some of the roof shapes are also like a little bit wonky, but we're just gonna pretend that that's not the case, okay? I feel like this one should look like it belongs in Willow Creek, so the only good reason, or like the only good thing we can do, is actually try to make it as base game as possible. We could, for funsies, make this little house base game. Like, I've already used base game columns and a base game roofing texture, so why not just go for like a base game house? I think that might be really nice, actually. I could like add to the challenge, even though it doesn't say that it needs to do that. And also we need, okay, I don't think we can go, do we have base game bunk beds at this point? Like, important question here, because I don't think there is a way that I can make this house look good or function even if we don't get to use like base game bunk beds. Let me check this very important matter right now. We do in fact have base game bunk beds. Oh, and these are actually not that bad at all. I actually kind of like those. So that should be good. Okay, perfect. Maybe we should start by furnishing that one. Like, if I can get the 23 tile out of the way, everything else in the rest of the challenge I can handle, right? Like, are you with me on that one? Because I think that makes sense in my brain. If I can tackle the most difficult one, or maybe it's gonna cause me to give up because I'm gonna be so frustrated. But who knows? Let's see where this is gonna go. So we need 2 young adults. I'm kind of tempted to go... No, we were gonna keep this a base game house. I was gonna say I'm kind of tempted to use the one from Tiny Homes. You know, Tiny Living. I keep forgetting the name of this. Murphy bed. The Murphy bed. But maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should just keep it base game. It also needs to have 2 teens, and a child. For the 2 teenagers, we can get like this bed. For the child, we can get this bed, and then we can actually have it that something is underneath there, maybe like a sofa or something. And then for the parents, do I actually get a double bed? Or like, should we put a tent in the yard so that the parents can sleep in the tent? I'm like very tempted to do that because I have no clue on how to make this look good. Let's see. At least these beddings like match. It looks so terrible. Oh my God, I feel so bad for the people that are gonna live here. This is potentially like the worst living situation ever. Like, how is this? Oh, I feel so bad for them. Do 2 beds not fit like this? Oh, they should. Okay, I was just about to say. Because I think if we put it... Wait, let me put it the other way around. It almost feels like a very, very, very cheap motel room like this. I also need some light. I don't know why I'm working without any light here because it's not great. So let's get... I'm just going to get an ugly light, okay? I'll replace it later, I promise. Like I said, we're going to do maybe like an outdoor kitchen or something, so we don't really have to have kitchen space in here. For the floor, let's just go for like a simple lighter floor. The outside is like the green. I think that's actually kind of cute. Hold on. I know we have a green swatch of the bed. We also have that one. Let's see. That one kind of like matches too much, I think. We can have some different bedding. I think that might be cute, actually. Let's do a pink, a blue, and a green one, and then that one can have like basically almost all the colors. I was thinking we could have a little like TV unit underneath here so they can sit on the bed and watch some TV. Then I was thinking, okay, that's the thing. We don't have Tiny Living, so we do not have a singular tile wardrobe. I mean, technically your Sims don't really need a wardrobe. Let me be super clear about this. This is an unnecessary item when it comes to gameplay, so I might actually get rid of this again later. We also need to have the yoga mat, but we can add that in the garden. That should be absolutely fine. It might be nice to have like a rug underneath the bed. We could go for something like maybe pink, because then it matches with... Oh, I don't like that pink though. That pink is like such a hot pink. That's much better. That isn't like too much in your face. So let's actually get a little like TV unit. Okay, I do not like that specific TV unit. Do we have something that looks a little bit better? It would make sense if we have something like this that actually has like some storage space, but I'm not sure if you can add a TV on here. Oh, you can. Okay, perfect. Because then it looks like they have like, it's a dresser. Also, is it just... Why are these not... Oh my God, I never realized that these are not like straight. Why would someone do that? What is wrong? Why? That's potentially the worst ever. Can I mush them together so you don't really see that? Okay, that glitches a little bit, but it's still much better. I'm gonna keep it. Oh crap, we also need a bathroom. I was like, what am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. Yes, Ro, you're forgetting a freaking bathroom. So I think the sink or something is gonna be outside. We definitely need a toilet. And that's also another problem. We don't have like a 1-tile shower, because otherwise I would have added that over there, but we literally do not have it in the base game. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. I'm even almost tempted to actually close this off, so I am sure that they're not gonna like complain, because otherwise I feel like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I would be creating a house that doesn't feel fully functional simply because I know they're gonna complain about the shower part. So this way, they actually have a double bed for the parents. They're gonna have to scoot, but Sims should be able to scoot. We have 2 beds for the teens, and then there's a bed for the kid. And then underneath the bed for the kid, we actually have a TV. So they have like some entertainment. And then above the bed, we have like a little light and some books. They don't have a computer as of right now. I'm like trying to figure out if there is a way that we can also have a desk in here. But I don't think, again, we don't have a single tile desk in the base game. So that might be a little bit hard. I almost feel like we're going to have to add that onto the porch as well. But this isn't great. Let's actually continue with my previous struggle, which is what kind of wallpaper do we add in here? Because I almost feel like at this point, that's going to be easier than figuring out the rest of the floor plan. I might just go for like a very, very simple one like that. Okay, maybe not the yellow one. That's a little bit too intense. Let's go for the green one. That kind of brings the outside back into the inside. And I think that looks pretty cute. We also definitely need a better light because that light I can't deal. I'll just use this light. I think that looks a little bit better. I mean, technically that's a functional house. There's not much skill building, but we're also going to add a yoga mat. I just realized we're going to add a yoga mat, so that technically isn't going to be a fully base game house, but that's okay, I guess. That's okay. I mean, the entire lot is not going to be base game because for the other packs or like other houses, I'm definitely not going to continue to just keep it only base game, but I thought it could be fun to kind of just challenge myself to only go base game because that does make it harder with like showers and bathrooms and stuff. So I think in that sense, by keeping it this realistic, I think that looks pretty fun. I wonder, do we have a sink that like makes at least somewhat sense to be on the outside of the house? Because I feel like a lot of sinks in this game really genuinely do not look like they belong on the outside of a house. I think if we're gonna go, like maybe that looks the most like something you could find on the outside of a house because it looks like a little bit industrial. And we could even add like the grill in here because I think maybe I don't want to give them a stove because I think it would be slightly unrealistic to have a stove. Like a sink outside is already a little bit questionable, but I might be able to get behind that, but like a stove, that just goes too far. I just also realized this house doesn't have any windows. Just none. Maybe we should give it one just for funsies, just like a singular window. No, actually, I think we can give it maybe like 2 over here. Like that's not a ridiculous spot for windows. I think actually on the inside that also looks pretty nice. That gives the place some life, which it definitely needs. I'm just gonna figure out what kind of curtains we want to give it. Okay, I don't hate this. I don't hate the inside of the house. I don't think it looks absolutely terrible. You know what? I feel like maybe we should add the picnic table over here so it's like slightly covered, because then what we could do is we could also give that we don't have a laptop. Oh, we do have a laptop in the base game because now the laptop is technically covered. So if it starts to rain, I don't think they will have any issues with that. I also think it would make sense if these people had planter boxes. Like if you have such a tiny home, you probably grow a lot of your own stuff because you don't have a lot of money. So I'm just gonna give them a bunch of planters. Is that too many? Am I going overboard with this? Maybe a little bit, but I also think it looks kind of cute. I don't hate it. And then I need the yoga mat, which is not base game, unfortunately. So I do want to give it like another. Ooh, I always really love this swatch of the yoga mat. So now they can do some yoga. I also think that it might be nice actually to give them an easel. So because that's another skill building item they could earn money with. So if you're living here, that's like actually a really nice item, I think. And it's base game. So apart from the yoga mat, then everything is still base game. I think that's our first house finished. It's definitely a questionable house, but it functions. If you live here, you can grill to make food. You can actually wash your dishes and yourself. And if you were to have a toddler in here, which you're... Oh wait, I just realized we are supposed to have a cat and a dog as well. Oopsie. Hold on. Because those are technically not base game, but oh well. Okay, that's cats and dogs covered. Or actually, I mean the cat and the dog can just sleep on the bed and on the floor. They don't have to have like a cat bed. We do need a pet bowl. Let's get a red one for the dog and then also a red one for the cat. Now there's space for a cat, for a dog. We don't have any toys for the dog. It's a little bit sad, but probably if you play here, you could eventually afford that. It has space for all the Sims we need. There's a computer, there's a TV. Your Sims can build their gardening and their painting skill. And for the kids, there is even like a little outdoor playground. I think we did pretty well considering that this is such a cheap house. I do think it's a little bit of a sad house with only the windows like this, but hey, what can one do when it's such a small home? I feel like to cure the pain that I suffered from that super teeny tiny house, I am allowed to go to the biggest house, which is where we actually need to have an elder, 3 young adults, 3 children, and an infant. So this is also going to be a pretty full house, but it's definitely not going to be as bad as the previous one. So let me actually come up with a floor plan that kind of like makes sense. Because we're definitely gonna need some stairs in this house. I don't want to use a ladder because I think that would just make it a little bit awkward. So I was thinking we could go like this. That could be a bathroom. And upstairs, that also gives us some space to work with, I think. Because we can make that, it's gonna be a very small infant room, but it can be an infant room. That can be a bedroom for maybe like 2 young adults can be a couple. And then we can have like a teens room and a children's room. Wait, no, it needs to be 2 children. Oh my God. Okay, so infant, 2 adults. Also an elder. Oh, there's so many Sims in here. How am I ever going to make that work? Do I even go like that? That's going to be so tiny, but I think it can work. There's going to be like this super, super, super tiny hallway, but I think we can get away with it if we really wanted to, because we have a door over there, a door over there, and a door over there, and there's nothing but just a little hallway upstairs. And then I think we can put 2 children into this room. So I've got the 2 children, the infant, and 2 young adults covered. So we need 1 young adult and 1 elder that needs to go downstairs. I think we can absolutely do that. We just need to keep this space free. So I think if we split it up like this, I actually just realized I don't even think we need a hallway. Like that's just a little awkward if we have a hallway. We can still have them come in over there, but I just think it's a waste of space to have a hallway. Since this needs to be a house that can fit in the world of cats and dogs, let's actually use... What if we just go for a single tile door? Then it can still be in the middle. Bro, I'm using my big brain right now. This is actually not too bad. I expected this to be a lot worse. I mean, it is 1 bathroom on like an intensely full house, but okay, that's nice. I mean, it's a very typical bathroom, but I think it works. I do think I like that, actually. Let's just get this wallpaper in here. But then we are, in fact, going to have like a little kitchen. I think maybe we could have the kitchen in that corner and just have the wallpaper kind of continue like this. And then I do want to get the columns from the outside and just add them on there. I think that works. And then we can also have a column over here. I wish we could have the column over here because then that just makes a little bit more sense. What is this called again? I keep forgetting it. Spandrels. Is there a spandrel that came with? There is actually one. Because then we can kind of like split up the room, make it look like it used to be 2 rooms, but they broke it open. And then we can have this over here. I just feel like it's weird for the stairs to be in the kitchen. So I think I would prefer to use a floor that works like this. But then maybe there's this fence, which I didn't know about, but it came with Get to Work. And it's like, it kind of allows you to create little splits like this, which I think makes it look so much more natural. So I think I'm actually going to go for this. Okay, I also want to make sure to kind of keep an eye on the windows for this house. Instead of like furnishing it, maybe I should start with windows. That makes sense. Let's actually, I think Cats and Dogs has really nice windows. So let's just use those. Okay, I think having windows like that makes a lot of sense. Then if I add a window like this and kind of like on the outside over there too, and then maybe we can have one in the middle. That's going to be annoying for the kitchen though, but I guess that's just what we're going to work with. I mean, if we have the sink over there, I think maybe it could work. And every room at least has windows now. Also, this family is a huge family. They're not going to have a kitchen table. I'm just gonna have them have like a bar like this so they can have their breakfast, because I think that's kind of cute with the stairs, and I feel like that works out in terms of like spacing of the kitchen. Because I also added like the shelves and then a microwave and then the sink, and they should be able to use this space to cook on and stuff. So we can even add some clutter later on over here. I do think this takes quite a lot of space in the living room, considering that there's not much space to like add a TV and stuff. I think the only space where we're gonna be able to add a TV is over here, or like underneath the window or something. So I think we're gonna have to do that and then like place the sofa over here, which will break up the space nicely, I think. Actually, I think this house is gonna work out pretty cute. I like it already. As you can see, I'm wearing a different outfit. I redid my hair. That's not because I wanted to. It's actually a completely different day because this build was taking much longer than I anticipated. So I had to kind of like go back and just pause the recording, do all my other things. And it is now 2 days later and I'm finally back to recording this video. So I am just going to continue furnishing this house like I talked about previously, which for me feels previously, but for you is probably like 2 minutes ago. I think I'm going to start with the living room. I already have the layout in my head now, so let's just go with that first. Okay, so I just picked the sofas and the rug, and I feel like that really like kind of brings in the color that I used here in the kitchen. I think this looks super cute already, and I can't believe I actually managed to fit 2 sofas in here. It is getting a little cramped if I also want to have a coffee table, so I'm gonna see if I actually can put like a TV and stuff in here still without making it too narrow. I think this works. I think your Sims are able to like walk around this anyways. I think that should be fine. And then I think it would be nice if we have like half a curtain, so not like a curtain on both sides, because that might clip a little bit. But we could go for something like this that like covers half of the window, so it kind of looks like you can close it. And then I've seen a lot of people do this little trick where they use like this to kind of hide it and then add something over here as well. So now it like properly looks like that curtain can go all the way over. And I think that's so smart. I can't believe that I didn't figure that one out myself, but I think it is super cute. Also, this house is technically supposed to be relatively cheap. I only was supposed to have 40,000. So I just realized I put a really expensive TV, and I guess if it was really on a budget, I probably wouldn't have made it with that, but okay. I mean, we already decided that we're gonna leave the budget limitations behind, so for this one, I'm giving myself an exception. I also think, considering this is such a small space, we're gonna have to utilize all the space we can to actually have like some skill building items in here and stuff. So I think maybe adding an easel over there is kind of smart, because that way they can actually do some painting in the living room as well. And then it might be nice if we have like a bookcase somewhere. I'm trying to figure out what the best spot for that would be, because I'm thinking over here, but that also makes the hallway feel like a little bit crammed. But we're gonna need a bookcase somewhere, so maybe we can add it over here and we can kind of use it as a little hallway table. So I just decorated it. I added like the little key thingy, which I think doesn't come in a lighter swatch. Maybe in white it looks a bit better. I added a big mirror, and I have the bookcase now, and it kind of functions as a little hallway table, which I think is super cute. I also added the yoga mat right next to the door, because I always think that looks really nice in an entryway. And then I think all we need is maybe like a nice little doormat or something. Oh my god, there's a blue doormat that fits perfectly. Let's use that one. Also, for in the living room, I just used this light, which kind of means that I might be able to get rid of the big light over here, and then I can just add a couple of lights over the counter space. And I actually am kind of tempted to use the light that came with the new pack, because I really like the new Love Struck light. Let me find it. It is also not the most expensive one, and I believe if you size it down, it works. It might be a little bit tall actually, because this is already sized down, so it might be a little bit too big. I could size it down even one more, because I do think those lights look super cute above a counter, and it lights up the entire kitchen really well. So I think I might keep that. I also quickly decorated, or like I'm quickly decorating the bathroom a little bit, because I feel like it's a little bit sad if it's so empty. So I'm just adding like a bunch of things that I almost always add to bathrooms, to be honest. It's kind of like my standard bathroom package at this point. Okay, so we have a little bath mat. We have a shower top combo. I've added some towels on the wall. There's like a little bit of clutter, a toilet roll. There's some stuff on the sink and a mirror. I think that makes for a really nice bathroom. The only downside is that it's the only bathroom in the house, so that is a little bit intense, but I guess that's just what we're gonna work with here. I also just realized that I need to include some items. This is one of the items that we have to include. I completely forgot about this, that we have to include this item. And I'm like now figuring out where on earth I can actually use this item in this house. I'm guessing we almost have to add it upstairs in the parental bedroom as like a light above the bed, because that's I think the only thing. Oh, it is so ugly. I actually hate this light, but I guess if you size it down this much, you can add it above a bed and it will like, I wouldn't say it will look good, but it looks remotely fine, I guess. So I guess we're gonna use it there. Or should we use it maybe in, I don't know. I was like saying, should we add it in the hallway? But I think that's just as bad. We could add it maybe in the living room, like above the coffee table. Honestly, that might be like the least bad spot to add it. It's like so absolutely ridiculously ugly, but I guess we can make that work. Okay, let's just go for it. And then the other thing is we needed to add the potted palm. So I want to make sure to add that item as well before I forget about it. I feel like considering this is quite a big room and that's going to be for the elder and that's going to have like a single bed in it, I think we should be able to add it over here. Although I'm thinking about this now, what was my philosophy again? 2 kids. I'm almost tempted to say that this should be a bed for, or like the room for the elder, because then you have parents, toddler, elder, and then you have, what was it again? 3 young adults. Wait, it's 3 young adults. Oh my God, I'm so lost. Is this going to be a room for like double then? Because two young adults. I think it actually makes more sense because this room is quite large to make this a double room. And then it can be a single room upstairs, this room. And then maybe we can actually move this into the corner, like right over here, because that is such a weird and awkward corner. Although we could also add maybe like a desk. If this is going to be the room for the elder, she can have, or like she or he, like the grandparent can have their own little desk. But then the question is, where do I add this plant? Adding it to the kids' room is a little bit weird. So can we add it in our front yard? Can I just add this outside? I mean, I guess I could. I can just have this over here. I just realized that we also don't have mailboxes yet. So I guess if you have like your mailbox over there and you have the plant next to it, that's pretty cute. I don't think this house has a mailbox. And I feel like on a street like this, it makes sense to have your mailbox sitting like just on the side of your house. So I'm just gonna add them everywhere so I don't forget that I have to add them. Okay, considering that I now made some changes to the floor plan, let's actually go ahead and actually decorate all of these spaces. Let me actually see my wallpapers because I know we have a couple of wallpapers that like fit a room for an elder really, really well. Maybe something like that would be cute. And then we can have some curtains. And then I said I wanted to add a desk over here. So let's actually start with that, like a single tile desk. We don't have many of those, but we have 3 options, of which I think actually maybe this one might be the best. Oh, the curtain is clipping here. Okay, so I guess we're gonna do the same as we've done so far already then. We're just gonna use that same curtain as we used downstairs. Or maybe we could even, oh, that's like slightly too small. That's sad. Okay, I decorated the room for the elder. So this person has like a little desk. They have some sunflowers sitting on it. They have their own like tiny little wardrobe. They have a plant, a clock, some books, and a bed. And above the bed, they have like a little nightlight basically. And that's it. That's everything that fits into this room. It might be super tiny, but at least it's something. And it feels like a semi-proper bedroom. I wouldn't necessarily want to have this room, but hey, who am I to judge? So I think we can actually move on to the parents' bedroom, which I also feel like is so incredibly small. Again, I'm going to use the same trick with the curtains because I just feel like this has been working really well. And then I actually don't think I want to use this specific bed because it feels too big for that room. Like we need a slightly more compact bed. Something like this. I think this is pretty cute. And then we can also get this one. This like room can have maybe 1 nightstand. And then we can have the dresser sitting like maybe right over here could work actually. Okay, I think the parents' bedroom is also almost done. I'm just gonna give them like a little bit clutter. You know, not too much, but just some items to make it like feel like, you know, stuff is happening here. Okay, so we have a little basket of laundry. We have some like toiletries. And then there's a double bed with a nightstand and some books. I also just realized that this window currently does not have a curtain, which I think we could even do it like this. So it also, again, kind of looks like the curtain can go wider than the actual window because then the window can be half open. I think that's pretty cute. And then it also looks like they kind of shove the curtain until the end of the bed. I think this is a pretty cute bedroom. I like it. Okay, now let's move on to the toddler room, which should be an easy room because it is so incredibly tiny. And because it is so tiny, I don't want to like make it feel even more like small or closed off. So I'm going to try to see what kind of curtain I can add here that doesn't make it feel like this room is getting even smaller. Maybe something like this that's kind of like a little bit see-through because then it doesn't like block too much of the room, I guess. And then for the wallpaper, I love this specific wallpaper for a kid's room. I'm just a sucker for like those cutesy wallpapers and I rarely get to use them, so I will definitely use them right now. And then I always feel like this bed fits so perfectly with it. Then let me think, what else do we need for like an infant or a toddler, or I guess a changing table? Although I'm almost like tempted. I'm like, where am I supposed to place that changing table? Like, I don't know if I can fit that anywhere, to be honest. I don't think they specifically need it for gameplay, by the way. It is like super nice if you have it, but it's not mandatory because in the base game there is infants, but there's no changing table. So now I'm like, do I just add other things that are like more useful? And then your Sims can just change the diaper of the kid by like throwing them in the air and being like, yay, diaper changed, good luck. So then I guess in that case, it might be nice to add a little blarfy, because that's always great for like infants, toddlers, like every single one of them loves the blarfies. I guess if we really wanted to, we could add a toy box downstairs somewhere. I said this, I was like, we can add a toy box downstairs. And then I was like, where, Ro? You've literally used every single tile there is to use for this house. It is so incredibly tiny. Okay, I guess you know what? A playmat is really useful. So I'll just add that too then. And then we have the little like bookcase that you can add on the wall. I might add that one too, just because it looks cute. And then I feel like a little bit bad, but that might be the only things that I can squish in here. Like, of course we can decorate a little bit. So like we can make it look a bit cuter. I don't think I'm going to be able to add much more like functional items, to be honest. We can add this on the wall. We can actually change out the light to this cloud light, because I always love that in kids' rooms. I think it is super cute. And then that giraffe is absolutely useless, but at this point I'm like, you know what? I'll take it anyways. And then I might add the little bookcase. Oh, you can't lower it. I keep forgetting that. I might add it over there above their bed, and then we can have the giraffe in this in like this corner. And then what else can we add? I know that if you size down a toy box, I believe it still works. I believe we can like have this size down to this, and then it should still function. Although then you cannot access the playmat. Hold on, I didn't think about this. At this point, I'm like doubting if it might be more useful to add the door over there so that we can add some stuff against the wall here. That actually might be too crowded, but I can add the toy box still. I can add that like this, and I think that should be functional. And then that's it. That's all the space we actually have for this little tiny kids room. So then we're gonna move on to the next room, which is the two kids room, or like the kids room for the two kids downstairs. I've been thinking of like maybe doing like a wallpaper like this, because I think it's super cute and it does kind of match with the color scheme of the rest of the house. Okay, so we have the curtain rod over there. Like I said earlier, we definitely need to change those lights out because that looks terrible. There we go. And then we need a double bed, because that's the only way that we're gonna make this room work, I think. Okay, so I've got like a double bed, a little desk in here. The curtain is like behind the bed basically, so it's kind of like tucked away. And then they have a really cute wardrobe. I was thinking we could maybe add a mirror, like one of those wall mirrors, like over here. Although this one is always so high up, I'm like, no kid is ever gonna reach that, you know? I don't know, that doesn't feel right. Let me see. Let me just get a normal wall mirror. I think that might be better. Just something like this, so we can have it next to the wardrobe. And then I would like to have something of like toys or something in here, but just feels so rough because there's like barely any space. I was thinking activity table, but there's no way that's gonna fit in here. Like that makes it too narrow. Like IRL, that would work. If you actually have like a real room, this obviously would work because you just walk around it. But I think Sims actually get routing issues from this, so that is slightly inconvenient. I could add a one tile desk if I wanted to and like solve it that way. Like if I really wanted to, I could just do this. I would have to like move the light to be, can I move that on there? Okay, that actually works quite well. So we could do this, I guess. I think that should work because I think that doesn't block the bed, because you can also put a nightstand next to the bed. I think this still works as long as they can like access this middle tile. I'm not 100% sure though, so I cannot like guarantee this works. But I guess then they have a little computer and a little like activity table in the room, and that is still quite nice. And then I would also like to add some decorations to the wall here. Maybe they have like some pictures of them together. That's cute, because I'm guessing this would be like twins or either kids that are like really close in age to each other. And then we're on to the last room of this house. I feel like this house, even though it's a tiny home, feels humongous because it's so many rooms for so many Sims, but I think we're finally getting somewhere. For this room, I'm just gonna add these small curtains because I think they look a little bit better, but I think I will still use this one as like the curtain. What is it called? Curtain rail? Curtain mount. Curtain rod. That's the word I was looking for. So this young adult is also going to have a bunk bed, because then I can actually add stuff underneath it. Let's work for a color scheme in here. I really, really want to use this new wallpaper, but it's just not pastel enough for this specific house, to be honest. I think the new wallpapers from the new pack, though, are so pretty. I really, really, really like them. maybe just go for like simple and blue. Honestly, this could also, I know that like the description says it is a place for like a young adult, but it could technically also just be a guest room or something. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add their like little, you know what we could do? I just realized. I don't think, especially, hold on. Oh my God, I have so many ideas. I think if we add a laptop over here, because the household currently doesn't have a PC space, but if we have a laptop over here, when your Sims are eating, they can sit either over here or on the sofa. So there should be like plenty of space for your Sims to sit when they're eating, even though there's no dining table. But that also means that sometimes it can get like really, really crowded in the living room if Sims are eating there and stuff. So how about this young adult has like their own TV? It is a little bit of an old TV, so it's like a little bit bulky, but then they can have it like that and they can have their own little sofa maybe. It is ridiculous to actually give them their own sofa considering how small their room is, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like that's a decent priority, right? You can also give them some books that like go above the little wardrobe here, and then we can give them some clutter. Look, they can have like a little kind of almost like a nightstand on there, and then they have their sofa, which is super cute, and then they have the bed, and that's just like their own little, I would almost say it's a teen's room, or like at least a teen who just recently turned into a young adult. So for that reason, I think it also makes sense to quickly go into like the high school years one and give them like a bunch of posters or like a bunch of pictures and stuff. Okay, I added like a bunch of wall decoration, and I think that room now turned out really cute. It's kind of like a teen who just aged up into a young adult, so they're like trying to make their room a little bit more mature. And I think that actually concludes the second house. So we have 2 more houses to go. This video is going to be a really long video. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to try to cut it out and like speed up parts that are not that interesting. But I think I bit off more than I can chew, because considering this, it's wild. Like, let's be real. This is a wild challenge. 4 houses on 1 lot is actually, it's a lot more work than I anticipated. So let's continue with the one of 60 tiles that looks like it's in Moonwood Mill. So that'd be this one. And I think maybe we should start with painting the outside, because it's been an eyesore ever since I started with this whole build that I just never painted the outside of this. So let's start there, and let's just immediately see what kind of wallpapers we actually have. We could just make it a brick house, honestly, and then also go for like a darker brown, because that kind of matches with across the street. So even though those are 2 vastly different houses, because that one looks like it's supposed to be in Sulani and this one looks like it's supposed to be in Moonwood Mill, I still think that probably works the best. We also need to add that like little football team photo, which I think should be fine. That's like an easy item to add. And then we have to have a young adult, a child, and a dog. This should not be too hard to accommodate for. So let's just make sure that, how about that's like maybe the young adults room, that could be the kids room, and then we can make sure they have like a bathroom over here, and then that can be like the shared living space, and then we can have things for a dog outside. I think that doesn't look too bad. I'm just gonna sort mostly on things for the werewolf pack, because I think actually having things that fit with that aesthetic is just gonna work the best for this house. I'm starting to think that maybe we should actually go for this one. Yeah, the wood on the outside looks better. It just makes that door make a little bit more sense, and the house on the other side of the street is technically also wood, so I do think this looks a bit better. Just painting all the roofs as well. Did we get any floors? We got this tile. We could actually go for like maybe like the broken tile in the common living space, and then over here, and then we can just have some like a standard or like an old wooden floor. I always like to use the one from Jungle Adventure, and then the kitchen can go in like that corner. I feel like this floor plan is working out really well. This is like a nice amount of Sims for the amount of tiles that we got here. Okay, let's give them some light. Bedroom light, and then for the bathroom I always use that one, and then for the living space I'm just going to use this one because I don't necessarily know what I want to do with the lighting yet. I don't think we got any doors that are like proper indoor doors with the werewolves pack, so I might just use like regular doors then. I could use the ones from City Living because they also kind of look a little bit worn down. I'm gonna start with the kitchen because I think once I get that in, the whole floor plan like is gonna make a little bit more sense, you know? I'm just now realizing that we have this City Living one, like the counter, and it actually has all of these swatches, and I have used that swatch. So that is the match. Okay, apparently that is the matching. That is weird. I don't feel like that matches that well necessarily, but I guess I'll use it. I have been absolutely using all of the cheapest appliances and like most worn down appliances possible, but I think we're getting somewhere with this. Also, technically there's only 2 Sims living here, so we only need like a very small dining table, just with like the 2 chairs, I guess. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm gonna add that. Maybe over there. Can your Sims walk that? Like, does that work? Maybe we can have that chair over there and then we can move it over. Yeah, now your Sims can definitely walk over there. I think this should be fine. And then we can add like maybe a little living space over here, I guess. Does that work? Like we can scoot that door all the way into the corner if we wanted to, and then we can have like a sofa. Considering again, it's only 2 Sims, I feel like we don't need that much space everywhere. Okay, I think the living room is done. So it's very simple. I try to keep it as simple as possible. But they have like a broken TV with an older TV on top. They have like this broken lights. They kind of have all the furniture is clearly extremely worn down because that fits very well with the whole theme that we have for the werewolves pack. I also just realized that we don't have a bin in here yet. I actually think it might be nice to just have that one sitting in the corner. And I don't think I added a bin to any of these houses. So let me just go ahead and like add a bin over here. I think that will it work if it's sitting over there? I don't think so, actually. Maybe we should add the bin over here. I think it shouldn't be in the way if it's sitting here. It just looks so silly. I hate it when it's sitting over there. I don't like it at all. But I don't think there's another place that we can add it. Maybe we could add the yoga mat like into this teenager's room, and then we can have the bin sitting next to the door. It's like easy to take out your trash, I guess. And then for this tiny home, I added a bin outside, I think. Yeah, for this one, I did actually think about it. So let's actually move on to the bathroom, and I actually use like wallpaper from City Living here because I think it actually works pretty well, so I might just continue that theme. So we didn't really get like toilets and showers with werewolves. I do know that we have like a couple of things that look really run down. I might like actually use the new door from the Lovestruck expansion pack, even though it might be like a little bit too fancy. Like it might not work perfectly. You know what? We could also just add like a little archway into this. I think that would also work. Hold on. Just a regular old like archway like this. But I like the idea of the shower being separated like this. And then we can have a sink and a toilet. We're gonna use that like really this old looking toilet, I think. And then we still need a mirror above the... If I swap around the toilet and the sink, then we can actually have a mirror that stays up when you have the walls half down. I always try to think about those things when I'm building houses, like just in case you want to play here for gameplay purposes and stuff. That's always a bit nicer. But I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like that's gonna be the bathroom. Nothing more, nothing less. I think that works perfectly. And then over here, I already added that bookcase because I saw it in the werewolves like items, and I was like, you know what? That looks pretty good. Then for beds, considering it's gonna be a single sim, I don't think they need a double bed. So let's just take advantage of that because I think this gives us a little bit of extra space to work with, because then we can have maybe like a desk in here because we don't have a desk right now. And it would be nice if we do have one. So I would like to use this desk that came with the werewolves pack. And we didn't get a computer with the werewolves pack, but I do feel like we need a computer just for like to make this a playable house. But I'll just add this like really old computer in here. And then for the desk light, I would like to have a desk light that also looks like slightly worn, like nothing super fancy. I don't think we really have... Oh, we have that one. The one that came with seasons. I don't think I've ever used that light because I don't like it, but that's exactly the reason why I think it would work here. And I think this, like the parent of this household is a werewolf, but then maybe their kid is not a werewolf and that's why they moved out. That's like why they moved away and started living in this super tiny home community, basically. They still didn't have a lot of money, and they obviously they were raised in like the community of wolves, so it's a little bit uncomfortable for them to be living here, but they have all their stuff, so it's okay. Okay, so that room is done then. There's like a mirror, bookcase, little desk area, everything. And then for the kids' room, I actually already painted the kids' room and I added this mural because I found it. And I'm actually really tempted to kind of like create almost like a custom mural painting that was like maybe made by him for his kid, or by her, like single parent trying to make a cute kids room. So we have like the woods that they grew up in and then like 2 birds flying away from it. I think that's pretty cute. And it says kid, so let's actually get a kid's bed in here. I don't think we got a specific kid's bed. We got like a toddler bed and everything, but not a specific kids one. But we could go for like the bunk bed one, so it's like a little bit more clear that it's a kid's room rather than an adult room. And then we can also have a desk underneath. And then we can have a bunch of kids items, which are like not specifically related to werewolves, but you know, just your average kid items. They could have the cardboard dollhouse because it's like, I always feel like the cardboard dollhouse gives that illusion of being a little bit cheaper than maybe some of the other doll houses, because like if you're not super rich, then you probably cannot afford a full toy doll house. So you probably get something like this for your kid. And then maybe we can give them a toy box as well, like sitting right next to the door. And then do we have something else? Maybe just like a little corkboard on the wall. I feel like that's a pretty cute kids room. I do think it might help if we have a rug in here as well. Just like something to break up the space a little bit. And then we needed things for a dog, because this household is also supposed to have a dog. So let's get that too. So they can get like a little toy box for the dog. I think that's pretty cute. And then what else do we need? We definitely need a bowl, and we need a bed for the dog. I'm like trying to figure out what a cute place would be to add that. Maybe actually, you know what? We have a perfect corner for that over here. I think that's like slightly too big. So I might go for one that is like suited for a smaller dog. I guess they just have a small dog, okay? But I think that's it. That's the house that would suit in Moonwood Mill. The one for 60 tiles. And wait, we needed the Llamacorns team picture. I just realized. We can add that on the desk in the kids room, I think. There we go. That's cute. From like their high school or like the school that they're going to. I like that a lot. So that's that house done. And then we have one house left, which is the house that belongs in Sulani, which is going to be a really small home again. And it needs to have an adult, a young adult, a teen, and a child. And I think I already thought of having like the kitchen outside. It's going to be very, very similar to what I kind of did over here with like a grill and stuff. But this might be one of the most challenging ones. I feel like that just makes sense as a bathroom. We're gonna need a bathroom anyway, so we might as well just go for it. And then I'm almost tempted to do something similar as what I did here, and that's just have beds in the room and like nothing else. Because an adult and a young adult, I mean, technically that could be the parents. An adult and a young adult could be like a couple, and then a teenager and a child could share like a bunk bed. So we would have to have a double bed and a bunk bed in here. Let's just get something for like size reference. So a double bed could technically go over there. And then we need a bunk bed with like 2 beds. That could go like this. I mean, it's a little bit awkward, I guess, sharing a bedroom with your parents, but it does work. And it does also give us like a little bit of space to make something that resembles a living room, maybe something like that. I don't know. Let's start by picking like doors and windows and things. Might be a dumb decision to do a double door as a front door when you have such a small house row. So maybe don't go there. Maybe go for like a door like this, where you can also have the mailbox sitting right next to it. I think that might be the smartest decision. And then we need do we have like a tiny window? Yeah, we do. Like a small one for the bathroom. And then it would be nice to have like a bigger window over here. I was gonna say something like this, but I feel like that gets in the way a little bit with the bed, or like the layout that I have in mind right now. And I can't put these beds like this, because then there's no way that I'm gonna be able to access the bathroom. So what I could do is I could have these sitting over here, and then having this bed sit like this. Maybe that's actually the better option, because then we can have a window over here, which I think is pretty nice. That might be the only window in the house though. I want to be upfront about that. That's going to be the only window in the house. I'm very sorry. I also feel like the house should have the same wallpaper on the outside as it does on the inside, because that just feels realistic for like a beach house. We'll have a wooden door over there, and then we're going to have to figure out a layout for this bathroom. Let's start with getting some tile in here. I don't think Island Living came with a tile, did it? No, it didn't. Okay. So I always like to use that one. I think it just fits with the color scheme. And then just for ease of use, I genuinely think it might be the best to just use like a shower like this, like put it over here, because then we can add a sink across from it without blocking the way. And then we can have the toilet in that corner. And there we have it. A little bathroom, which is maybe slightly questionable to have such an open window, but hey, I mean, it works, I guess. We also need light. I just realized that I totally didn't add light in here, so let me fix that real quick. Considering it's a beach house, probably you're gonna walk in a lot of sand, so it might be nice to actually have like some tile on the inside. And with that, you know what we should absolutely have? I just realized there's no kids living here, is there? Oh, there is one child living here. Oh, that's perfect. Because what is more perfect than if you have a beach house that isn't located at the beach, but nonetheless, you're gonna try to make it feel like home, is to actually have a sandbox. So I just added like a sandbox and a little dollhouse in the sandbox, because we're not gonna have much space for a kid to actually like play inside. But I think if we have it like this, that's still pretty cute. And they can also play over here. So they have quite some space to just hang out. Then let's actually go in here and add like a kitchen and space to sit. And considering we do actually get a kitchen set with island living, I feel inclined to use that one. Okay, I created this little outdoor kitchen, which has like, you can sit just barely underneath the roof, but I feel like it lines up a little bit better like this. And then they have a grill and a cool box as well. I think this house also asks for an outdoor bin because there's no way that we're gonna fit it anywhere else. And then I think what might also help is, you know how this is supposed to be on the beach? Right now, it doesn't really look like very beachy. We do have these palm trees, which I think are like a little bit too big, but we could add them as if they're like potted, if that makes any sense. So we do have these like planter pots, right? Like what if we get something like this and we actually add a palm tree in there? We could even size it down a bit more to kind of like scatter that around the house just to give it that island feel, you know? I actually think that one could also be one bigger again. There's just two of them, but I do feel like it adds to the vibe. Like if you were to play here, that does give it like a little bit more of an island vibe. And I also just realized I ended the tile over here, but I might as well just completely pull it around. We don't necessarily have a pull around roof, but I don't think that matters very much. And then if we wanted to, we could even like kind of close that off to make it feel like it's a little bit more private. Considering we cannot close it off fully because then one, it becomes more tiles, and two, your Sims can't really access it anymore. But like we can separate it a little bit if we wanted to. Kind of like this with the palm tree at the end. And then hold on. Maybe those two shouldn't be there, but like that one can be there and it can go like this. And then that creates like a really nice private porch. It feels a little bit more like it belongs to the house that way. And then I also feel like we need to have some skill building items in here. Or you know what? Considering we all have an easel somewhere else, maybe this is a perfect place for like a chess table. We can have the one that like looks like it's supposed to be outside here. I think that might be really cute. Like a little chess porch for the people that live here. And they already have like the sandbox. And then I think it is time to actually start decorating the house. So it might be nice maybe when you come in, there's going to be a sofa. So let's actually use the things that we got with Island Living for this as well. That one is too big, unfortunately, but that one is also too big. Okay, so it's gonna be this one. But considering it's like a relatively small sofa, that also works in that corner, I guess. And since it is so small, we might even be able to squeeze in. No, maybe a plant is a little bit too ambitious, but we can have like a nice little wall light or something. And then over there, I was thinking we could have a TV maybe, but it could be like a TV on the wall so that we can actually use the space underneath to add a wardrobe. So that if you're playing in this house, you can actually use that wardrobe to change your Sims. And then I think on that wall, it might actually be super nice if we have a big mirror. Okay, this bunk bed, I absolutely hate this bunk bed combination. So we're definitely going to pick another one. But there's no bunk bed that came with Sulani. So I'm going to have to improvise. But honestly, I've always felt like these bunk beds are such a good match for like the island living vibes. And then we need the second bed that goes underneath it, which this is Dream Home Decorator. Okay. And then I feel like, honestly, this bed kind of also matches the vibe with like the little leaves on it and everything. But then we do need a rug, which I don't want one from Dream Home Decorator. I want one from Sulani, like Island Living. The question is, do I want to have it underneath the bed, or do I think that actually works the best. And then we have very little space left, but we have some space left for maybe something like this, like a little table, and we could add a plant on it because I feel like no house is complete without a nice plant, and that is potentially like the only corner where we can actually have that work. If we got ambitious, we could actually add 2 plants on it, you know? There we go. 2 cute plants. And then I also realized we could, if we really wanted to, like, you know how I said that this corner is now, like, we can have a wall light, but what if we don't have a wall light, but we have a hanging plant? That's actually really cute. I like that a lot. And then I do think we also have some we didn't get any what? You're telling me we didn't get any paintings with Island Living? I don't think I've ever realized that. We did get a bunch of like wall decoration, but just no paintings. That's fine though. The most important thing is that I just wanted to make sure that we have like some wall decorations. I like this above beds, to be honest. I always think it looks kind of cute. And then I think maybe just some lights that fit a little bit better than the default ones, or maybe like not in the bathroom, but just in the main space. And then I think that's our little island living home. We have like a big, nice outdoor kitchen with like a bar seating. There's this ship, which suggests it's the beach. We have the actual sandbox. We have the palm trees. We have like a little outdoor space to play some chess. and there is space for an adult, a young adult, a teen, and a child because they're all sharing this big bedroom together. It's a little bit awkward, but it works. And I think that with all of my effort actually finally concludes this humongous build that I've worked on for far too long. I'm gonna make sure to put it on my gallery. My gallery name is just Rosannatxt, and I would love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, anything in the comments down below, so feel free to go in there. And also just in general, commenting on a video always really helps out for engagement. So if you want more people to see this video, commenting, liking the video, stuff like that really does help. And if this is your first time seeing my channel and you're like, wow, I'm really interested in what else she's got, and I'm really interested in what else she is doing, feel free to check out my channel. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone!